Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Simran and today we're going to talk about my stats, my GPA, my essay, and how they got me into UF and NYU. So let's get into it. First of all, I just want to say that my application is more strong on the extracurricular side as my SAT and ACT score wasn't the best, and so don't take all of my material and all of my extracurriculars and really judge yourself on it, or if you've done these things that I've done or not, because everybody's different, as you know, and these are just the things that I've done and what you can use for inspiration if you're in the college application process right now. So I'm just gonna read from my computer. It's right here, and I'm going to just look at my resume and tell you guys everything that I have. So let's get into it. Alright, so first let's talk academics. So we're going to talk GPA, we're going to talk SAT score, and is there anything else? Oh, and we're also going to talk APs, classes, rigorous classes that I took. Alright, so first, my unweighted GPA was a 3.9 and my weighted GPA was a 5.1. This was because I took AP courses, and that makes your GPA a lot higher if you do decide to take those. So clearly that is what boosted mine. My SAT and ACT wasn't the best. Not the strongest test taker, definitely not. But I will say my ACT score. My ACT score was a 24 super score. I know it was super bad. I'm not the best test taker, like I said. But anyways, let's move on to APs that I took. In my freshman year, I think we were only allowed to take a limited amount, so I only took AP World History. In my sophomore year, I took AP Biology and AP US History and AP 2D Art. Yeah, I think that's it. In my junior year, I took a lot more APs. I took AP Pre-Calc, AP Environmental Science, AP Macroeconomics, AP Gov, AP Seminar. I took 6 in total, a lot of APs. In my senior year, I did AP Statistics, AP Research, AP Psychology. I did AP Lit, AP Computer Science Principles. That was the last one. So yeah, in total, I took at least 10 APs. I don't know how much that is, but it was a lot. It was a lot of APs. As you can see, I definitely avoided some APs that I did not feel comfortable taking. For example, AP Calculus and AP Physics. Personally, I feel like your professor or your teacher is really important in order for you to succeed in those classes. And the teachers that we had at our school, I did not feel like they were going to make my learning process easy, so I just chose not to take those courses. So definitely the whole vibe of this is to just take as many APs as you can, but don't take AP classes that you don't think you're going to do good in, because that'll literally just drop your GPA. And yeah, colleges like to see that you're pushing yourself, and they'd rather have you get a B in AP Chemistry over an A+ in normal chemistry. But if you're going to take an AP that you really don't think you're going to do well in, you think you're going to get a C or below, don't. So anyways, yeah, that sums it up for the academic section. I did try to push myself a lot through high school, but I also wanted to make sure that my space was breathable, right? I don't want to I didn't stress too much over the AP, SAT and ACT, as you can see, because I found studying for it extremely difficult, because the books, I don't know, I don't recommend books. I recommend Khan Academy, but you don't have to take my advice because clearly I didn't do the best on that section. So anyways, that sums it up. Okay, so the next section, and my favorite section, is extracurriculars. I am super ambitious, so I did a lot of different things, and let's start. So first, notably, I was president of Environmental Club for 2 years. That was in my junior and senior year, and so what I did is I led group cleanups, led our first garden initiative, and set up fundraisers with small business owners. Notably, I love boba tea, you guys, and so I found a small company that sells boba, and I literally brought them to our school, and it went crazy. So many students loved it. We raised so much money through that, and it was just a split profit. So they got 70%, we got 30%, which is a lot. It's really just about communication and reaching out to all these businesses, and you could totally do it at your school too. But I love that aspect of me being president of that club. It just made me so happy. We had a few of those fundraisers, quite a few actually. So yeah, I loved that. And then I also created awareness through posters, and I did that with my club members, and we optimized and we created the first social media page for the environmental club. And it was really cool. I love social media, so I posted on this a lot. We just did climate change awareness. We did what our club activities were. We made reels. It was just a fun club that felt like family to me, and I always will have a soft spot for this club in my heart, and I love it so much. So definitely find a club that you're passionate about and just stick with it for a long time, and who knows, you might get like a really great role in it, and that is great for college applications. Okay, so next I was head of the youth committee for the Windermere Chamber of Commerce. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is something I got from connections. My best friend, her mom owns the Windermere Chamber of Commerce, and just being her friend, we both had the great idea to start a youth committee. And this involves us creating forms and recruiting interested students on LinkedIn, and then also having them attend business meetings that we host every Wednesday, where there's gonna be small business owners, and really just create community, increase their knowledge of entrepreneurship and just public speaking in general. It was really great. We're still working on it though. Next is a leadership and nonprofit internship at the Borgen Project. Now, this was like an online internship that I found while doing crazy research. I think it has like less than 10% acceptance rate to get into the program. And when I tell you, I took all those questions on the interest form, and I took them so seriously, and I wrote paragraphs for each one, and then I got into it because I was very dedicated and passionate about the program. And so what I did was I collaborated with congressional leaders to help end global poverty by reaching out to them and, advocating for poverty relieving bills to be passed, which you guys can actually do. You can just literally contact your congressman, and if more people do it for a certain bill, then they'll literally have to pass that bill because the people are literally in charge. And so I also did research, and I did lots of social media stuff. I raised money at the Windermere Chamber of Commerce. Yes, that was a little bit scary for me, but I made a whole pitch and everything. And while everybody was sitting down, I talked to them, and I had a fundraiser link, and I ended up making more than $200, which I think is really cool. And so yeah, that was a really fun internship for me. Next, for my senior year, I was vice president of the Women Empowerment Club. And I worked with the executive team to empower women in our club and teach them about menstruation. And I also fundraised for hygiene products in our school, worked with other organizations to coordinate this. And I also was huge on contacting other businesses to help, raise money for all of this, right? Like I contacted Jeremiah's. But that was my major role, I think. Other than that, I don't believe I did way too much in this club. I think it's really all about selling yourself on your application and making your not as cool, extracurriculars, making them stand out by writing about them nichely. Next, I was the South Asian Marrow Initiative president of Florida. So this was just like a chapter president position of a youth-led organization. And I actually want to go into detail about how I found this opportunity with you guys at the end of the video because it'll really help you. So what I did was me and my team, my leadership team, worked to find Indian events and collect stem cells to find more bone marrow donors for individuals suffering from bone marrow cancer. And so how this worked was we went to events twice a month, and we literally set up and had these little kits that had cheek swabs in them, and we literally swab people at these Indian events and collect their cells and then send that to an organization that would do testing and find a donor to match it, to match these stem cells from these donors to people who actually had bone marrow cancer. And I thought this made like a huge impact. Usually I don't like to do student-led organizations because I don't feel like it sounds legit, but I really saw the value in this one. I really liked it, and I met a great team, and I made great friends, and it was just really great community impact for me. Next, I was the youth coordinator of Reach Orlando. Not gonna lie, I didn't do too much. This is just on my resume. I don't think I put this on my actual application when I applied to these two colleges. And so next is chapter president of the Period Poverty Initiative. Again, I didn't put this as one of my major extracurriculars. I think you can only have 10 on Common app. But I did do a lot. I think I also created lots of awareness. I created social media on hygiene for women and, period poverty. And so I really like these people. It was great. Next, I was a content creator for Mind for Youth. I worked to help promote mental health in teens, which was really fun. I created reels on TikTok. I actually created this whole animation. It was so cool. I really liked that, but I got bored of it and I didn't feel like I was finding purpose in it, and so I left shortly after. And this just shows that if you don't like something that you're doing, don't feel obligated to stay. Literally just leave. Like, it's your life. You're not going to do a good job if you stay and you're not passionate about it anyway. So next was something I did for fun, like a hobby. And so there's this app called Book Clubs, and you can find or add yourself to a book club. and discuss books. And so what I did is I created my own book club on this app. It's called Book Pookie. I know the name's a little cringy, but it was really great. In the beginning, I made posts a lot for the books that I loved, and we hosted calls, and actually it currently has like 16 members, and it's still growing. And so I really learned about being a leader, management, posting, making announcements, coordinating a large group on WhatsApp, and it was lots of fun to discuss like my favorite books. For example, like Song of Achilles. I love that book, and I also love romance books too. Like Fourth Wing was really good, and we just discussed all sorts of books, and it was fun. I don't do that anymore, sadly, because I just didn't have the time with the College Board application process and all these other things. So I always feel like somebody's watching me. So SGA. Now I'm going to tell you a story. I'm not really into government, right? I'm majoring in biomedical engineering. My friend wanted me to come to an SGA meeting one time in sophomore year, and that's actually how I found that I really wanted to be part of SGA. And so I became fundraising committee head in my junior year, and in my senior year I became outreach committee head, and I was also 12th grade rep. And so I led a lot of people. I'd say I led more than 50 people to use their outreach skills. And it was really great. I loved SGA. All right, next, I do a lot of realism painting. So I put this together on one of my extracurricular parts on my Common App, and I said that I was a teacher's assistant for AP 2D art for Orlando Science High School, and I was also an artist that displayed my art at various galleries, notably City Art Downtown, which is in Orlando City. And this kind of shows my creative side, the part that loves to paint and be part of liberal arts, which is really great. And I could actually link my art account below if you guys want. Next, Turkish Olympiad finalist for traditional Turkish dance. I was part of this team for 2 years, and we placed second both years for the final competition, and it was really fun. We actually got to travel to Atlanta with our dance team, and we raised, me and my friend raised so much money. We raised like $1,000 for this. We really loved this Turkish dance team, and we ended up making as a group $400 consecutively for both years, and it was really great. Okay, we have 2 more left. Bear with me. I know it's a lot. Okay, and so next I did Bollywood Dance because I'm Indian American, and that's something that my parents really wanted me to do, and I actually really liked it in the beginning. I did various forms of Bollywood dance. I did like hip hop and upbeat, and then I also did traditional Bollywood dance, and it was lots of fun. I actually got to perform at an Orlando Magic halftime show with a crowd of more than 10,000, so that was a really cool experience for me that I definitely added. And then I also did aerial silks, and I performed, and I've done this for like 5 years, and I did Bollywood dance for 6 years, and so I also got to help teach students aerial silks at Bollywood dance camps. And aerial silks is really fun, and it's also a really unique extracurricular, so I think that also helped me stand out. And it's just basically doing acrobatics in the air, and it was a lot of fun. It made my body so toned, and I absolutely love it. I don't do it anymore because, again, I'm really busy, but if given the chance, I would definitely continue doing it, and maybe I will. So yeah. Okay, we finished all the leadership stuff and main extracurriculars. Now we need to move on to volunteering. I did quite a bit of volunteering in order to fulfill my 100 hours required for Bright Futures and just in general. So first, I was a woman and children's volunteer at Orlando Health, and every Friday I would help the nurses and medical staff care for patients by prepping bassinets, making informational folders, and passing out waters to all the patients. And I would also give them snacks. I also did patient transport, which means that I basically transported patients from their room to discharge so that they can be released. And this was mainly like pregnant women or children who had who were hospitalized, and it was really sad for me to watch this too sometimes, but it really just reaffirmed my love for healthcare and being of service to my community. And so this was a really impactful experience for me, and I did it for 1 year every week on Friday. So I think this was a lot of volunteering, and it was really great. It was like 3 hours every week, and I loved it. I also did a position as a laboratory assistant for the Orlando Health Cancer Institute, and this was really great. I got to sort out and organize patient samples. I forgot what the word is. There's a specific word, but it's basically like patient organs, bits of patient organs inside of samples that will be used for testing in the laboratory. And so I got to work in the laboratory, and I made this really nice friend named Maria. She's so sweet, and I got to just understand a little bit about laboratory machines and processes, and I thought it was a great experience. And then I also was a food packager at the sharing center, which means I packed and distributed bags of food to more than 100 families that were in financial need, like they were poverty and they just really needed the food and extra food from this organization. And it's a great organization, by the way, and I loved it. It was hard work though. We were out in the sun and it was like exhausting, but at the end of the day I felt really fulfilled, and I got pizza after, so that made me happy too. Next, over the summer I did a mission trip to Costa Rica, and on this mission trip I went to the poorest part of Costa Rica with my church group. And me and my team, or my team and I, we helped create a mural for this poor school. And we got to meet all these children and we did fun crafts with them. And it was a really heartwarming experience. I also got to teach these children how to paint. Like literally, I got to just teach, like all the children came to me and I taught them how to paint a sunset. And it was a really great experience because it reaffirmed that I love teaching as well. And just being part of a community and making these children smile. And it was just a really great experience that I'm so happy I had. And I'm happy that my parents funded that for me, because not everybody can do mission trips, but there's a lot of other great ways to make impact. Like I said, the food packaging where I gave it to families, that's also another great way. And then I was an MC speaker for the Gujarati Society of Central Florida, meaning I introduced dance groups for performances and auditions, and this was just showing my leadership and public speaking skills. Then I was a Bollywood Dance summer camp assistant. I did this for like 2 summers, I think, and I was teaching and helping to teach 5 to 14-year-old girls and boys various activities like aerial silks, Bollywood dance, arts and crafts, hip-hop, and warm-up stretches. And I wasn't really the main teacher, but I was definitely assisting and I was a volunteer. I loved helping with arts and crafts mainly. And then lastly, I was a dress-up assistant for the Runway for Hope, and I helped this sweet little girl who was facing pediatric cancer. I helped her find a really cute outfit. We went shopping together, and it was for this really cool gala that supports children with pediatric cancer, and it basically gives them a spotlight to like show off their personality, which I love, and I think it's just such a great organization. And if you live in Florida, you should definitely look into it and become a volunteer. As for certifications, at the end of my junior year, I took a course called Project Lead the Way for Biomedical, and in this course you learn all about anatomy, the human body, and you learn about leadership skills and laboratory techniques, and it was a really great 4-year program. And at the end of my junior year, I passed my base exam, which is my biotechnician's assistant credential, and I got my base license, which is really neat. I got it from UF, and it basically tells everybody that I know basic laboratory skills and definitions, which is great for my field specifically, which is biotechnology on the pre-med track. And so lastly, we're almost done. Publications. I took AP seminar, and that's when I got to do lots of research, and my research project was more of a sustainability and medical kind of research, and our topic was I did this with a group. If you take AP seminar, you're doing this with a group. But I did overpopulation in developing countries, and it was about solutions to unintended pregnancies and reducing the population. Now, while I did this in a group, I found so many research articles on my own since I was looking at the futuristic perspective, and I actually took this research from my perspective specifically in my role in the group research, and I took my side of the view, and I created my own research paper, and I published it on Stanford University's Community Alliance for Humanity in the Biosphere MOB platform. MOB is MAHB. That's the name of the website, and you can go research that later if you're interested. But I really love this research because it stands for everything I want to achieve. I really care about poverty in developing countries and medical studies, and that's what I got to research and publish. So this was a great opportunity. Another thing that I published was a children's book. It was on human body system parts, and I published it on Amazon, and it's an ebook, and it's called The Adventures of Miki and Tiggy of the Human Body Systems. And yeah, I actually made this at the end of my sophomore year. I think it was actually a project for AP Biology, and you don't have to make an ebook, but that was like an option, and I chose to do it because it would also be like a really cool thing to put on my resume. And I also just really wanted to do it because I'm an artist, remember, and I like to draw. And so I personally drew all the images, and I wrote everything for the book, and I published it on Amazon, and I think it's like $10 right now, or maybe I changed it so that it's free. I'm not sure, but it is published, so if anybody wanted to, they can research it and totally buy it. And yeah, it's a really great book. Okay, so I just realized I completely forgot to share my awards, so I'm going to do that right now really quick. So I got Miss Congeniality of Miss Teen India USA at the national pageant, and this also means that I got Miss Teen Florida for the state. And so that was really cool. It was national, which I think had a really good impact, especially on NYU. Next, I was a top 3 artist in the state of Florida, issued by the Congressional Art Award, and this is a prestigious art award by the U.S. government, and being top 3 in Florida, I think that speaks volumes. Next, I was a Wonderworks Flow Art winner for one of my art pieces. It's called Together, and it featured a diverse group of children all smiling together in a painting, and it was hung in their gallery. And then I also got 4 free tickets to Wonderworks, and that was really great. Again, I found this contest online, and I just applied for it. You really just gotta do your research, find competitions and things you can enter, just apply, and you never know, you might just win. So, next I was a winner and finalist. I wasn't the winner, I was just a finalist. I forgot what place I got, but I just put that I was a finalist, and of the Colors of the World, our competition held in Atlanta, and I received a $100 Amazon gift card, which I definitely used. And yeah, it was lots of fun, but I did travel like an hour all the way to Atlanta with a really huge art piece. Like, when I'm telling you huge, it was like as tall as I am. That's crazy. And then next, I was a top 5 public speaker HOSA for regionals, and I know this isn't like a huge achievement, but I feel like if you just add it and make it sound cool, then it really does count, because it shows that I like public speaking and I pushed myself, even though I didn't do significantly well. But you know, I'm putting it out there for them so that they can make use of the information with what they want. And then next, I was just an AP Scholar. I got the AP Scholar Award from College Board. I think you have to receive a 3 on 3 or more APs, and that's what I did. So yeah, that's cool. And then lastly, I got this one recently, and it was first place in Orange County out of 99 participants, and this was also issued by the Congressional Art Award. And yeah, it was for my piece on the wonders of Florida, and it was a beautiful sunset. It's currently being featured in my Congressman Daniel Webster's office. And yeah, it was just more of a special recognition award, but I'm really happy I got it. And I think that was one of the reasons why NYU accepted me, because I just needed something more to my application. And so yeah, those are my awards. Okay, so now I'm going to share my essay, and I think this is the last part of my whole stats video, but let me go on to that. I'm just going to read it from my computer. Oh my god, I'm so tired. It's really late at night. I'm going to Canada tomorrow, so... Alright. Okay, here it is. Alright, you ready? Okay, so... the prompt I chose was share an essay on any topic of your choice. It could be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. Now, they also have multiple options that you could choose from, like questions that you could just answer, but I chose the freestyle one because I don't want it to be limited in any sort of way, and I feel like this is the best one to choose because you're not limiting your writing by any sort of guideline. You're just writing what you want to write so that they could see it. However, some students do feel like they need more guidance when they're writing their essay, and so that's why they do have those prompts available. Alright, so here we go. I love butterflies, but the ones in my stomach do nothing to calm my unease. It's a chilly morning. I've just finished brushing up and smoothing out my bright red business suit for the speech I spent hours perfecting the night before, preparing for the HOSA regional competition. Spitting out facts and rhetorical comments with my friends comes naturally. After all, I take pride in being a conversation starter. But when it comes to stages, I am left with butterflies, my discomfort obvious to the world. My entire life, I've felt the pressure to be a trophy for my parents' hard work. Both came from poverty, tirelessly building successful careers to give me a better life. Every day I'm reminded of their sacrifices and feel immensely grateful. It's the weight of doing my best for them that keeps me going, even when it often consumes me. For all their hard work is what I tell myself as I enter the room labeled prepared speaking, inhaling deeply as I begin voicing my speech. The words are fast, my limbs are tense with fear. To remember or be lost, what will it be? As I stare into the cold blue eyes of my judger, I cannot help but freeze. The butterflies are fighting for their lives to be released from the cage in my stomach, but instead, more and more appear as anxiety slowly turns my brain to mush. I walk out of the room embarrassed by my performance. It's painful to share the news with my mom, now standing before me, but instead of being disappointed, she hugs me and says it will be okay, that mistakes are crucial for growth, and a growth mindset I now realize is what she was referring to, and what I lacked. I had been so fixated on just success that I limited myself in its pursuit. Finally, I understood. I must unlock the cage myself. I walked out of the room embarrassed by my performance. It's painful to share the news with my mom, now standing before me, but instead of being disappointed, she hugged me and said it would be okay. That mistakes are crucial for growth. A growth mindset I now realized is what she was referring to and what I had lacked. I had been so fixated on success that I limited myself in its pursuit. Finally, I understood. I must unlock the cage myself. The next morning is just as chilly, but this time the air feels refreshing. I sign up for a pageant I've always wanted to try, and this time fear won't stop me. Every day before the pageant, I practice my speech, using consistency over intensity, while also embracing constructive criticism. Time flies, and soon, giddy with excitement, I am on the glamorous national platform of Miss Teen India USA. The pageant is exhilarating. Bonding with other contestants, fun, silly, and inspiring teens, is a joy. They, too, embrace growth mindsets, and their encouragement challenges me to be my best self. For the first time, I am not consumed by pressure. I am driven by connection and shared ambition. Chatting with them is heavenly, but now it is time for the speaking portion I fear most. Ironic. I heard my name echo across the room. Simran Thomas. Slow steps guide me towards the blinding spotlight. The familiar cold seeps in, and my limbs tense with fear. The butterflies return on schedule. 1, then 2, 10, then 20. Haunting me yet again. But I take a deep breath and turn back to see my new friends smiling at me, silently cheering me on. Each face reminds me of who I am and who I strive to be, a reminder of my hard work. Then I spot my mom in the audience. The memory of her hugging me on the difficult day snaps me back into focus. I am the key. I choose my future. Take advantage of my failures, and today I have the power to make history. Finally, the lock bursts open, and butterflies of every color, shape, and size soar free as I project my voice loud and clear for hundreds of people. My smile is genuine as I watch the silhouettes of small wings fade behind my final sentence. The audience sits in awe as I stand proudly on stage, free not just of the butterflies, but of the fear that once caged me. I actually love this essay every time I read it. I think it's a little cringy, but looking back, I think it's a little cringy, but I feel like it was really impactful. And I think that's just what college is like. They like essays that are real and inspiring, and they show that the student is determined and motivated. And you can see that from this essay I have changed, right? I'm starting as somebody who is afraid and who is only concentrated on the problem, who has a fixed mindset, and who is focused on just the wrong things. And I change and I have a realization. Sometimes the realization is just a moment. It doesn't have to be a whole event or a death or anything crazy. It could just be, I realized from this mistake that I made from the HOSA competition. That's when I realized that I had a fixed mindset and I actually need to have a growth mindset. And so I changed. And it also shows that I randomly signed up for that pageant because I wanted to. That shows me taking initiative for the things that I really care about and wanting to do. It shows that I'm a go-getter. It shows that I have compassion for my family, my friends. It shows that I'm a great communicator. And you can see very many aspects of this essay show different parts of who I am, right? And not just one perspective. And so I think that is also what contributed deeply to me getting into my dream universities. So yeah.
3, 2, 1.
It's completely optional and you don't have to. The skills that I've listed were leadership, oral communication, project management, research skills, painting, public speaking, community development, presentation, teamwork, graphic design, and teaching. I could have totally listed more, but I just wanted to keep it simple and give them kind of an idea of what my main genre is. I love women empowerment, speaking, sustainability, community, poverty, relievement, all that stuff. I wanted them to get that idea, so I chose to list skills, but you definitely do not have to. And I think that's all for my resume. I finished. Again, this is all on my resume. This isn't what I listed specifically on my college application, but I feel like sharing this was better because I'm giving you a larger list. On my college application, I was only able to list 10 things, but my resume has a lot more. And if you're asking if it was definitely hard for me to cram some of my major extracurriculars into like 10 spaces, yes, it was hard for me. Because I just wanted to share with the colleges all versions of myself, all the things that I did, which are listed on my resume. And some colleges do give you the option to list your resume, which was really great, but UF didn't, I don't think. I think NYU did. I am super grateful that I got into these universities. I definitely didn't think I was going to get into either. They were both my top dream schools, and I'm just really grateful. And I think that no matter what you do or what you have on your application, you just need to really show your dedication and passion in your college application process. Do not be like what you think the college wants you to be. Be really expressive and be really niche and be really unique. That's what they love. Like if you love boba tea like me, talk about it. Talk about how it relates to your life. Like I feel like students are sometimes so nervous that they're not going to get into the college that they want, that they choose the safe route, which is basically doing what all students do and like giving them like a vague idea of their accomplishments and stuff. But really they just want to see who you are. They want to see the person that you truly are authentically. They want to know what value or what silliness or what unique aspect of you are you contributing to their college. They're always looking for something that's unique. They want diversity. That's their whole motto, right? Colleges love diversity, especially NYU and UF. And so I was definitely, doing my best to just write about what I wanted, and I think that's definitely how I got in. So in regard to advice that I can give you now that I have finished sharing my stats, just say be very intentional about who you are. Do not copy other people. Do not, make yourself sound like other people, because you're your own original person with your own original story. And and the college admissions officers, they want to hear about you. Now, if you need help with finding opportunities, I would really recommend LinkedIn. Me taking the PLTW course and my teacher got me into creating a LinkedIn account, and it was also part of the curriculum, and that's when I first got it. And I was like, oh, it's just a random app. But no, it's not. It's a job application app. It's a professional app. It's an app where you can share your achievements. And in my mind, it makes getting achievements and building your resume, it makes it feel like a game. Like I can look at other people's profiles and get inspiration for what they did to get into this university, or I could see what jobs they got. I could reach out to these people and ask them for advice, which I have done plenty of times. I could also see student opportunities on my For You page and other people's achievements, and I just find it to be very inspiring and very motivating and very exciting, and it's really great for finding opportunities and jobs. And I love LinkedIn. I would love for them to promote me in some way, but right now I'm not promoting them like that. I just want to say that they have really great opportunities for students. I actually found the South Asian I found SAMI, I'm just going to say SAMI, where I did the bone marrow and I collected samples from Indian events. I actually found that opportunity on LinkedIn originally, okay? So it definitely goes to show that if you're keeping your eyes out and you're looking around, you could find really good opportunities, and you can make really great connections that will definitely help you, right? Connections are huge for getting amazing opportunities, especially in this job market, right? Most of it is I feel like connections. That's just my opinion though, because I'm having trouble finding a job at the moment, but then again, it's also my lack of experience. But yeah, there's limitless opportunities out there. You just have to be willing to research and pursue what you're passionate about. And if you're struggling with the college application cycle, just know that no matter what, if you trust yourself and you trust the process, you will be okay. And no matter what college you get into, you are amazing, and that does not define your self-worth. And your self-worth is defined by who you choose to be, not by college. And so no matter what, do not feel pressured or sad. I actually had a few anxiety attacks that I wasn't going to get into any of the schools that I wanted to. And trust me, rejection can be hard. You might get those rejection letters, but don't take it personally, okay? Like they say, they are getting so many applicants that they just actually have to just reject some really good ones too. And I've also got rejected from Florida State University, for example, I can't remember any others, but I just applied to 10 after all. So just know you got this. I believe in you, and go make great things happen, and just make it happen, right? Make it happen. You got this. All right, I'm gonna go to bed before I talk for another hour. Good night. I hope this video was helpful, and if you did find it helpful, feel free to subscribe, like, or comment. I love hearing advice. I love hearing how I can improve, and I want to really create community on this app, and so that's why I'm starting to make these videos, to really just explore myself and find people who are like me. It's giving me great advice. So yeah, thank you. Bye guys. Good night.